Hi, it's Lindsay Diane from DianeDecor.com. Today, let's talk about interior design mistakes that regular people just don't care about. Without fail, every year, at least 3 or 4 times a year, I get flooded with posts and YouTube videos and things in my Pinterest feed about interior design mistakes. Now, this is something that I just have a really hard time with because interior design and interior decorating especially is very subjective. And there are some things that always land on these lists that regular people just don't care about. Interior designers study the art and science behind interior spaces, all about the way that we behave in spaces, spatial relationships, and a part of their job does include assigning the decorations to those spaces, to a room or a building, the interior decorating or the interior styling. This is the part that I have an issue with when people critique others' interior decorating or interior styling choices. There are no mistakes here. It's completely subjective. It's 100% a matter of opinion. And yet, I constantly see things falling on a list of mistakes as if people are doing something wrong in their homes. So let's talk about some of those mistakes and why most people outside of the interior design niche or interior design industry don't care about these things at all. Number one is your curtain length. Now, this is one that has always been a pet peeve of mine. Yes, there are different ways to hang your curtains or different lengths to have your curtains at. So you can have them kiss the floor, you can have them puddle on the floor. The suggestion is that your curtains should go all the way to the floor. Now, I have never once gone into someone's home and said, oh man, look at the curtains. Like, look at those curtains. They're 6 inches off the ground. That's crazy. You know, no one does that. Regular people don't do that. It's not a point of criticism for anyone. I don't know anyone, and I hope you don't either, that will go into someone's home and turn their nose up at how long someone's curtains are. It's completely absurd. Just because my curtains are 4 inches off the ground or 6 inches off the ground does not make it a mistake. Moreover, it's practical not to have your curtains go all the way to the ground. If you vacuum regularly, or you have a robot vacuum, or you have pets or things like that, you don't want those things so close to the ground. They're going to get damaged, they're going to get sucked up by the vacuum, and they're going to get dirty. Now, there is something to be said for elongating the look of your windows, but it's not a must-have. If you want a more dramatic look, that's a tactic that you go for. You hang your curtains really high up, close to the ceiling, have them run all the way to the floor and skim the floor, and you have the illusion of these big, tall, grand windows. But not everyone needs to do that. Some people already have really tall windows. And so the idea that you have to have your curtains all the way down to the floor is just silly. And you really shouldn't pay any mind to it. And you certainly shouldn't spend any money redoing every curtain panel in your home just to adhere to some interior designer's wish list. Number 2 is matching furniture sets. These are the kinds of sets that you would get at showroom warehouses like Rooms To Go. Now, there is something to be said for your house looking like it comes from a showroom, right? That's where we get that idea, is that everything is matching. It's just so, and it looks like you picked it right from a catalog and put it into your living room. There's nothing wrong with this. There really isn't. Frankly, the most affordable way for you to buy a full set of furniture, if you have none already, is to buy the set. You get a discount when you buy the set. So don't feel as though you can't buy a set of furniture. If you want to break up that kind of look and you still want a nice curated feeling to each of your rooms, go ahead and break up the pieces. So if you buy a living room set that has a sofa and a matching love seat and a couple of chairs, pull one of those chairs out of there, swap it out and put it in a bedroom. put another chair in a home office, and then get 2 other chairs to kind of mix and match and balance out all of that kind of similar pattern that you're going to get when you buy the full set. That's the way you want to do it, so that you're still saving money, you're getting the pieces of furniture that you need to fill out your rooms, but you're not getting that sort of cold catalog kind of feeling in your space. And you can do the exact same thing for the bedroom sets as well. You know, they sell the bedroom sets as like 5 or 6 pieces. You get the nightstand, you get the bed frame, the tall boy dresser, a smaller dresser. You know, go ahead and buy it. Just split up the pieces and put some in one room, put some in another bedroom, and then you can kind of start from there. But by all means, save the money and buy the set. Not only is it cheaper, but it saves a whole lot of time. If you are fresh in a space and you don't have any furniture and you really want to be able to function in your space, you want to lay down on a bed, you don't want to lay on an air mattress, you want to sit on a sofa, you don't want to be on the floor, you know, go ahead and do it. It's a lot faster than individually picking pieces from a bunch of different stores. Number 3 is curtain rod hanging height. You do not need to hang your curtain rods all the way to the ceiling. That is the recommendation that I hear all the time. Hang them as high as you can. It's completely unnecessary. The only thing you have to do is hang them high enough so that you're not drilling into your window frame. So you hang them high over the framing of your window and wide enough to be outside of the framing of your window. That's the only thing you need to do. Other than that, hang them at any height you want. It's practical for you to hang them just above the window because that's where people can reach. Otherwise, if you have very tall windows, you're probably going to have to hire somebody with the big ladder to come in and hang the curtains for you. And that's just not practical for most of us. And that's why most people don't care about curtain rod hanging height. And number 4 on my list of mistakes that regular people just don't care about is tourist art. This is something that I've seen a number of times. And what they're talking about is when you buy canvas wall art or any kind of wall print of a touristy destination like the Eiffel Tower, Machu Picchu, things like that. And it's not a photograph that you've taken or that you're in, it's just a random print of that structure or of that landscape, as if there's something wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you love this beautiful black and white portrait of the Eiffel Tower, put it in your living room. There's nothing wrong with that. It's such a weird thing to say is a mistake. Art is completely subjective. If you love something and you love the way it looks in your space and you like the way it makes you feel, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no mistake there. Now that we've gotten the mistakes out of the way, there is some sound advice that I often see on these lists, and they all have to do with spatial relations. Number 1 is to measure before you buy. Measuring before you buy is going to save you the headache of having to return something that is either too big or too small. And a lot of the times you are not going to know that until you get it in your house. Worse, what if you can't get it in your house at all? What if you did not measure the width of that sofa and the guys come to deliver it and they can't get it in your door? Or you get home and you realize this sofa barely takes up half of the wall that you want to put it on, and it looks teeny tiny in your huge great room. You don't want that to happen. So for sure, measure everything twice before you buy furniture for your room and before you buy artwork for your walls. Number 2 is area rugs. Area rugs are one of the most important and impactful design elements that you can purchase for your home, in my opinion. An area rug will help define a space that you want to function in a certain way. And you especially need this when you have continuous flooring. So if all of your downstairs is tile from your kitchen to your breakfast area to your living room, there's no signaling of where one space stops and another begins. And you can do that by adding an area rug, particularly under your dining area and under your living room seating area. Normally, you would have a change in flooring. That's usually the common practice, is to have a change in your flooring to indicate a new space. But not all of us have that. You might have hardwoods throughout, or like I said, tile throughout. And so then it becomes really important to help delineate the spaces. Using an area rug will help you break up those spaces and identify zones within a large continuous flooring situation. And then you can pull your furniture around it and really create an enclosed space within a space, basically. Next is furniture lining the room. This means when you have your furniture pushed all the way back up against the walls and you have your coffee table kind of out in the center, or your area rug just kind of floating in the center of your room, but your furniture is pushed really far away. Now, sometimes you can help that. If your room is smaller, you wouldn't push your sofa towards the middle of the room if you're trying to maximize the amount of space in a room, right? It's just impractical. Your sofa or your chairs would be up against the wall. This is really a recommendation for someone that has one of these oversized great room kind of situations where you need to create your own space within a space and anchor your furniture towards the center so that your furniture isn't, one, floating out there and looking odd, but moreover, making it comfortable for people to be able to have a conversation. You don't want your sofa and chair and love seat to be so far apart that you have to yell to the next person. So if you have these big, giant, open spaces, you want to pull your furniture in to your area rug so that you kind of cozy up that zone, make it a little bit smaller, and make it so that it's understood that these few pieces of furniture are meant to be in this area, and this is where we're to hold a conversation, play games, do whatever it is in that space. So yes, I think that lining your walls with furniture is definitely something that you want to avoid if you can. However, if you don't have the space, you don't have the space, and that's fine. Next is lighting. Lighting really does make a huge difference. A too dimly lit kitchen or a too brightly lit bedroom is really kind of a nuisance. You want to have not only appropriate lighting for the tasks that are happening in that space, but you also ideally would like to have lighting at different levels. So you would have your overhead lighting, you may have some eye level kind of task lighting, and possibly some lower lighting like under the cabinet lighting and things like that. Those things really help set the mood and make your space a little bit more flexible. So as you move from the daytime to the evening in your kitchen, you may not need all of your big bright island lights and overhead lights. You may just want to kind of tone it down, have some little under the cabinet light, but it doesn't have to be at this like full bright setting. The same thing for the living room, right? You don't need to have your overhead chandelier going. You can have just your floor lamps on the sides of your sofa, or maybe some little table lamps that you have on a sofa table or console table. Again, the bedroom, you could have wall sconces, you could have table lamps. You don't have to have that big, bright overhead light. So consider your lighting and having supplemental lighting so that you can kind of tone that mood down when you want. And it just really create a nice space and a relaxing space to be in. The last is your wall art hanging height. There is an ideal height for people to be able to enjoy the artwork on your walls. You don't want to be straining your neck up, or you don't want to be looking down at anything either. You want it to be right there at eye level when people are standing. You want that center point of your artwork to be at eye level so that people can really take in the whole piece without having to do a whole lot of extra work. It just looks nice. It's a suggestion. It's not a must-have. It's not a mistake. but I do think that it makes a difference, and I agree when I see these on a list. That's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with these things just not being mistakes and being able to kind of do your own thing, or if you disagree and you think that it's really important to adhere to some of these industry standards. I'd love to hear your opinion. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to check me out at dianedecor.com. I post regularly about decorating on a budget, interior design trends, and DIY decor. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.